Okay, so the chaos continues today in the Daisy Link trial, with the judge denying the state the opportunity to present impeachment evidence against Daisy Link. Both the state and the defense rested their case today, with the closing arguments up next. This decision by the judge was potentially game-changing for a number of reasons. The day began with Daisy Link taking a stand to testify in her defense regarding the events that occurred that night where Pedro Jimenez had lost his life.
Did he say anything after you shot, like, ow, or you shot me, or anything like that?
Her testimony presented a lot more clarity to what was testified to by her relatives on day 4. However, the judge made that controversial decision that I mentioned earlier before the state's cross-examination regarding material that would attack Daisy's credibility, and we are going to get into all of that on this video. Hi, I go by name of Hines, your friendly neighbor Ketchup Man, and welcome to Ketchup Court, where we are on a mission to make trials digestible for you. If you're unable to sit through all 7 hours of a trial feed or go to the courtroom and witness the proceedings for yourself, we have got you covered right here. As I said from the beginning, the judge had ruled against materials being brought into evidence. So how did we get to that point? Therefore, it is imperative to dive into Daisy's testimony to understand why this was a controversial decision. We shall be discussing the other testimonies today in tandem with hers, like her son's testimony, for example, and others to round up what has been happening on this day where both the defense and the state have rested their case. As I said, Daisy was one of the witnesses to be called today, and she testified to the events that allegedly occurred 5 days before Pedro's death. She testified to the locks being changed at the house and the circumstances why Pedro was no longer on the lease. She testified about an alleged domestic violence incident, which is where the pistol whipping testimonies from the other witnesses had originated from.
There was just a glare from me to David, back to me, and from there, he pulled out a gun.
Pulled out a gun?
Yeah.
Pedro pulled out a gun, and what did he do after he pulled out the gun?
Initially, he charged at me with the gun, and he hit me once with it, but me and David began to wrestle the gun off of him. From there, I pointed it at him, and I guess our fingers were kind of intertwined.
What, if anything, did Pedro do once he got the gun back from you?
He pointed it at me, so I ran towards the front door, and I heard a bullet. Well, I heard it dislodge. I ran out the door. There's steps to go up, so I fell and I hit the ground. I fell outside.
What happened after you fell?
He jumped over the ledge, and he pinned my arms down with his legs, and he began to bludgeon me with the pistol, with the metal end of the pistol. I remember just getting hit over and over again, and I tried to fight, but he was just too big for me.
Also explained why this particular incident had occurred and her actions after the incident, including her speaking with the police. And to me, there are a lot of problems with this particular testimony, but that is going to be addressed in our closing arguments catch-up. All of those testimonies to the events that occurred approximately happened on the 19th or 20th of June 2022, which would be 5 days before the murder. Now, Daisy had testified that she went to the hospital the next day after the attack, after receiving advice from Crystal, her sister, to do so. This would be on the 21st of June or the 20th of June 2022 approximately. Now, about the police officers, she gave testimony that she did not tell the police officers about who did this because she did not want to get Pedro deported.
That I was scared. When he was on drugs, he was a monster.
When he pistol whipped you, as far as you know, was he on drugs?
Yeah.
And can you tell us or explain to us why you wouldn't have just called the police as soon as he did that to you?
I couldn't. That's One, he would have gotten deported. Two, he wasn't allowed to be with the kids at all by himself, or when his mom wasn't around. I would have gotten the kids taken away.
She also testified that she ended up forgiving Pedro and they ended up having sex with one another. These events occurred from the 21st of June 2022 to the 23rd of June 2022. But before we go into the events that occurred on the 24th, which would be a day before the killing, let's bring in Pedro Jimenez Jr.'s account. This is Daisy's son, and he gave testimony about what his accounts were that night. For note, he is a minor and he was doing his interview via a screen or a Zoom link. I don't know how it was set up, but he was not in person at court.
Do you remember when the police took your mom?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you remember about that, about them taking your mom?
So, my mom is saying, I didn't do anything wrong, and they're just taking her away and telling her to be quiet. So I put her in the car, and she starts like screaming at us, and she starts screaming at me and my sister. She says, "Oh, we're gonna take me away, guys." And me and my sister, we get scared, and then the police officer says, "You want to see my passport?" And my sister says, "Yeah, sure." So we go and we walk into this car.
Now let's go into the judge's decision to keep out evidence and let you guys decide whether this was the correct decision.
As to what she did right after she got pistol whipped, because she said she went to a hotel, she said she tried to go to the hospital, but she so happened to forget to say that she busted the windows open with the car. We have evidence clearly that says, puts it in perspective for the court, and because it is so inextricably intertwined, the court should allow the state to present it. We'll present evidence that we have in a good faith basis based on inextricably intertwined argument to present to this jury that this defendant went ahead and took a hammer to this man's truck right after she said she was beaten to a pulp and she was almost unconscious. How is that fair if the court doesn't allow this in for the jury to believe that and not hear the entire evidence as it was presented? We're allowed to rebut that on multiple bases as we presented the arguments to you. But the most is inextricably intertwined at this point.
However, the judge denied this motion, citing that it is just prior bad acts. Therefore, she is not going to let it in. And I'm guessing that the judge basically did this because she just does not want that on our record. It goes against a judge's reputation, in my opinion. It's not because she's pretty that I'm saying all this. No, I know I've been crushing on her since this trial began. But no, I really believe that she just doesn't want to get a reversal on this case. So she's just not bringing that in. Now, knowing that these facts were kept out of the case, therefore it is important for us to remember that this is a murder trial, not a domestic violence trial or a first or second degree assault type of trial where these facts may have been allowed in that particular context. So with that in mind, let's go into Daisy's account of why she killed Pedro that night. She testified to the reasons why she wasn't afraid to go and pick up Pedro from his friend's house. Also relays similar testimonies that we have heard from the relatives, such as how Pedro had grabbed the purse from her and went to the alleyway, such as how Pedro was choking her and the mom was telling Pedro that he has gone way too far and she is going to call the police. She also gave clarity about the time that this would have occurred. She said when all of this was happening that it would be at 12 midnight. So she also gave testimony about when her mom had left the residence. So she said that the mom had left at 2 a.m. and the incident had occurred at 12 midnight. So therefore this will be 2 hours where the mom had stayed with Daisy and left at around 2 a.m. The reason why I'm pointing out these times and asking you guys to note is because when we reach our closing arguments catch up, where we are bringing all of these facts together to decide where the inconsistencies were and where the stories are lining up, it's going to be very important to see who has been telling the truth and who hasn't been. She testifies how she had admitted to cheating. This was after the mom had left, and she also gave testimony to why she had shot Pedro, and her reasoning was because Pedro was going to lock her out of the house.
Were you aiming to hit him?
I initially aimed towards the floor as I lifted up the gun. I didn't expect for it to hit him. I just thought the sound was gonna scare him off this time for good.
So immediately before you pulled the trigger, he was going towards your door and he was gonna barricade himself inside the home, as far as you know, right?
He was.
All right. As soon as you fired that shot, did he abandon that intention and run off in a different direction?
He changed course, yes.
Okay, and he took off, right?
He began to run in a different direction, yes.
As he was running away after you fired the shot, did he appear injured? Did he appear like he was shot or hurt?
No,
or?
not at all. I didn't. That's why I didn't think he was hit at all.
Okay. I mean, did he say anything after you shot, like, ow, or you shot me, or anything like that?
I heard, like, it was very faintly, but it was like, ah. So as a couple seconds began to pass by, now I'm a little scared. Did he get hit? I don't know. That's where I began to walk towards the front of the house.
She also said that she did not tell Pedro, "You'll be fine."
As you walked on camera that we saw on State 16, we heard you actually say, "You'll be fine. It's not like I hit a major artery. You'll be fine," right?
That's not what I said.
Now, you hid the gun, right?
Yes.
But credibility is everything in a jury trial.
You said something about hitting a major artery, right?
I said I might have. I could have.
Because you knew you had shot him and hit a major artery, right?
No.
And that's even why you told Pedro, as he fled from you, that you'll be fine. It's not like I hit a major artery, right?
I said, you don't want to go to the hospital? I could have hit a major artery. You'll be fine.
Because you were mocking him, right?
Let me know in the comments what you make of.
And you told him that you couldn't have social media, right?
But I still hit it.
You had an Instagram.
Just because I wasn't allowed to have it doesn't mean I didn't go behind his back when he was gone and still download it.
You had a Facebook.
Same.
And you had a TikTok.
I wouldn't consider that social media.
You shot Pedro as he ran away and you killed him, right?
He didn't run away from me.
I have no further questions.
Let me know in the comments what you make of our credibility. Like I said, this case hangs on credibility alone.
And did that domestic violence detective have any interactions with you?
She did.
Okay, tell me about that interaction.
She told me that.
Objection, here's...
She told me that she just wanted to help me. That unless I spoke to them and I told them what happened, then they couldn't know anything. That they wouldn't know anything, and that basically now I'm gonna end up spending the rest of my life in jail because I won't let them know what happened. That my kids could possibly get taken away, and that basically, unless I spoke to them and I let them know what really happened, then, you know, that was basically what was gonna be the outcome. That it wasn't my fault that things like this happen, you know, people get tired. I then began to tell her that it's not what it seems at all, that that's not what it is. And that I'll talk to you, I'll tell you what really happened.
They introduced a domestic violence detective where she gave testimony about not telling Daisy that she was looking at spending life in jail, and the only conversation that they had was in the toilet.
Right, let's talk about the incident. You said you also went with them to the bathroom.
Yes.
Was Detective Janoris with you the entire time as well?
Yes, she was.
Where was the defendant?
In the bathroom stall.
What happened when she came out of the bathroom stall?
She asked me, or alluded to, me being a domestic violence detective, or asking me was I.
Okay, and what did you respond?
I told her that I was.
Okay, and anything else that she asked or you said to her?
She proceeded to talk about being like a victim of domestic violence.
And what did you say to her?
That she needed to talk to them about that she needed to talk to them, meaning the detectives, the homicide detectives.
Did you try to continue that interaction that she was trying to get you to speak to you about?
No,
Did you at any point discuss anything else with her?
no.
Okay, no further questions, Judge.
What is our credibility at this point? You decide. Anyways, if you've made this far, thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. You have great taste. If you found this video to be of value for you, make sure that you leave your DNA sprinkled all over that like button. Consider supporting the channel by becoming a tastemaker and be part of our great community here on YouTube by hitting that join button. Also, you can support us on Patreon as well, or by giving us a one-off donation. Whatever your heart so content, any help that you give us would be much appreciated. The links are in the description. If you have a taste for the law, you're already one of us. Make it official and become a tastemaker today. I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and this has been The Ketchup. Also, remember what I told you earlier about the closing arguments ketchup, where we recap the key important info from this particular case? Well, the video should be popping up on your screen right now, but if it doesn't, then check out the playlist and binge on all of our coverage from day one of this particular case. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.